Hey, welcome back to my remakes and comparison videos. I haven't made one of these in a while, but I wanted to talk about one movie in particular that I really liked, and it was called The Day the Earth Stood Still. Now, what's weird about The Day the Earth Stood Still, this movie came out in 1951. Okay? Now, I was born back in 1959. So, so apparently, I must have caught this movie like when I was like maybe 8 or 9 or 10 years old. Now, when I was a little boy growing up, things was a lot different back then. But, I was always fascinated by science fiction, flying saucers and all that stuff, Bigfoot, monster movies and all that kind of stuff. Just being a young kid, you know what I mean? So, I remember watching The Day the Earth Stood Still. Now, a lot of times I watch movies that was based on what my mom watched. Now, my mom watched a lot of movies because, uh, I was just inspired by a lot of stuff she watched. She had pretty good taste in movies, by the way, I thought. But anyway, I think I might have watched this movie because my mom watched it one day. But now, a lot of you guys out there probably would not care for this movie. It's probably too dated for you. It's probably too old. And I get it. But this is a remake, so comparison. Now, The Day the Earth Stood Still came out in 1951. And it came out September the 18th, which is my youngest sister's birthday, by the way, because I was born in 59, she was born in 60. And her birthday September the 18th, so that's kind of funny. But anyway, I noticed that. The director was Robert Wise. Most of these people are probably passed away by now. And your leads was Michael Rainey and Patricia Neal. Now, there was more leads, but those were the two main ones. And it's a sci-fi drama. And it's an hour and, I wrote it down, an hour and 32 minutes. Yep, it's an hour and 32 minutes. But basically, this guy it's an alien guy, comes from a different planet, and he lands, and he lands in the United States, and he wants to warn the world that you guys are going down a destructive path, which, we really are going down a destructive path. I don't see no improvements in our life. I mean, you can't turn on your cell phone, you can't turn on TV without seeing something bad, or, you got places all over the world that's got droughts. You ain't getting no rain in certain places. It's just messed up. So anyway, that was my little thing. But this has got a Rotten Tomato of 95. A Rotten Tomato of 95. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I still have this movie on regular DVD. And I still have it, I do believe. But this is one of those classic movies that I totally enjoy. I really don't think a lot of y'all would like this movie at all. But the only reason I'm bringing it up, these are movies that I like, that I like to do the remake and comparison. And so, the main message of this was that humans are prone to violence and destruction, and the earth is paying the price. And our earth is based, we're just ripping down trees. We got the left versus the right. You got race issues. We just can't seem to get along. And you know what? We are capable of really doing really good, but we just, for some reason, by the time it's too late, it'll be too late. But it is what it is. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible that's just becoming true every day. But anyway, The Earth Stood Still came out in 1951. The director was Robert Wise. The leads was Michael Rainey and Patricia Neal. Now, The Earth Stood Still 2008. That movie came out December 12th of 2008. And your director was Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson was the director. And 80% people liked The Earth Stood Still. 80% of people liked The Earth Stood Still. The one that I just said was in 1951. It has a Rotten Tomatoes of 95. The Earth Stood Still came out, the remake came out December 12th, 2008. Now, I went to go see this one at the theater. I really did. And I have to say, I was a little underwhelmed because I was going in there all hyped up, I was just thinking, man, it had your leads was Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Connelly and Jaden Smith, which is Will Smith's boy. I don't think any of their performances was that bad. It just, the movie just didn't connect with me. You know what I mean? It just, I went out underwhelmed. I went in there, I guess I just went in there with just a lot of high expectations, and I just, you know, just come out there like, yeah. But anyway, The Day the Earth Stood Still is a sci-fi drama, and it's an hour and 50 minutes long, okay? The first Day the Earth Stood Still is an hour and 32 minutes long, which is the old one that came out in 1951. But your leads in the 2008 is Keanu Reeves, Jennifer Connelly, and Jaden Smith. And like I said, the release date is December 12, 2008. Now this is a remake in comparison, so this is a remake. So you had your remake, which is in December 12, 2008. Then you had your original, which was, you know, September 18th, 1951. Anyway, I don't want to go over, but it's basically, the 2008, it's basically the same thing. You know, Keanu Reeves is this alien guy that comes, and it was told in a different way, and you got more special effects. But this had a Rotten Tomato score of 20. Rotten Tomato score 20. So I don't think a lot of people care for this movie. But here's the thing. They had 75% people liked it. So everybody's different. So here's what I think is what the problem is. I think with today's people, when you try to make a remake that is made back in the olden days, which is 1951, before I was even born, because I was born in 59, people are just not going to connect to those type of movies. They're really not. Because they don't know what they're going into, you know. And even if you got, you know, Keanu Reeves, you know, even when he started, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to go see it. I can't remember who I went and seen this movie with. I know it was a friend of mine. And I watched the whole thing. It was okay, but I just was like, I don't know, I didn't feel it. But this 1951, I can still watch it to this day. And like I said, a lot of y'all would not like that 1951. Because I don't think a lot of y'all can connect to that type of style. The time was different back then. You know, but it's still good. It still holds up today. Which one would I prefer? Obviously, it's 1951 because it's just a better made movie, because it's something that was thought of, you know. When you have a movie that you think of something and you put it into development, you got the heart that goes with it, then it has a connection with a lot of people, because somebody has a lot of heart when they make a movie, and it's like, oh man, I got this idea, blah, 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 blah. Not all the time, but most of the time that works. But when you have somebody that comes back and they make a remake, a lot of times either they can knock it out of the park or they can't. And in this case, I just think that, you know, the 2008, I can watch it, but it doesn't hold a candle to the 1951. But I think that a lot of folks today, if you was to put these movies side by side, I think overwhelmingly you would prefer the 2008, because you probably couldn't see past the 1951, it being so old and dated. But that's just the way things were back then. But anyway, you guys, God bless, take care, stay safe out there, have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video. We'll see you.